This, of course, is a picture of taken of the two of us at Darcy's wedding. You can see that your mother was a absolutely gorgeous woman from the inside out. She had a sunny countenance. She had an unbelievable ability to accomplish multiple tasks. She was always very supportive of me. She's the best. I think of her often, and I go by the cemetery and say a few words for her frequently. She's a special person. Imagine a person accomplishing what she did in her life. 3-time Olympian. One year she won all 5 national championships. Graduated from dental school as a dental hygienist. The mother of 5 children. The supporter of my ideas. Actually the person that made Racquet Club successful, I think. I built it, but as far as operations goes, she was the spirit of the Ojai Valley Racquet Club. Unfortunately, she got cancer, is no longer with us. It was the 38 years I was married to her were the happiest days of my life. Greetings! Greetings from your father up here in Ojai, and Thane Ridge in the, thank God, in the bin at the Racquet Club before we left. And the pack rat that he is, he saved it, and Maria gave it to me, told me that there was some footage of Paula Jean, your wife, Thane's mother, and that we have, and wonder if you knew what it was, or so I looked at it and went, whoa, this is the original footage that I took of the Olympic Games, of the competition of the 1960 Olympic Games. It's priceless stuff, particularly for our family. So I came back and got with Gabby, and she had it converted to video, and we've put together, she and I have put together this little family video for your children, for you, for your children, and your grandchildren, and their grandchildren. This will be preserved forever. As I say, in our family, as far as our family goes, it's priceless. So I'll give you a real brief background on Paula Jean. She was in the 52 Olympic Games at 15 years old, which is very unusual, on the tower, and she won a silver medal in Helsinki. She was in high school at the time, and then in 56, just as she was starting college, she tried out again and made the team and went to Melbourne, Australia, where she won a bronze medal in the Olympic Games there. And then she came back to SC, enrolled in dental school, and she met me, fortunately for her, or fortunately for you guys, she met me. Well, man, would you be here without me? I don't know. And so met me in 58, in the spring of 58, and we were married 6 months later, and we both graduated, didn't have a penny, and she went to work as a hygienist part-time, and I went to work in aerospace as an engineer, and we lived in apartments all over, and she decided to try out for the 1960 Olympic team again, which was pretty unusual. She was been away from it for a while, and she was a little bit older, but not too old for diving. Diving is something like ice skating. You can do it. It's a skill, a lot of skill, not just physical ability. So we decided to give it a try, and she started training with Sammy Lee down in Orange County near Disneyland, and we rented a small apartment down there, and I commuted back and forth to my aerospace job. And she worked out full-time down with Sammy. There was a swim school down there, Sammy Lee Swim School, and Bob Webster, who won 2 gold medals subsequently in the 64 games, worked out with her, good friends. They were good friends. And then we went back to Detroit for the tryouts that summer of 60, and she won both the tower and the springboard competition, and they whisked her off to New York with the Olympic team and I'm standing there at the airport, and I'd never been anywhere really. And I flew to New York and met Lynn Bailey and got on an SAS airplane, and he and I went to Europe and traveled around Europe for several weeks, and then met your mother in Rome, where she'd been training with the Olympic team, of course, and just prior to the competition, about 5 days before the competition. And I took this footage with a camera that I had purchased in Switzerland on the way. I didn't know if it was going to work well, and it did. It was a Bolex. And I wish I knew where that camera was, by the way. It's been misplaced or lost. Anyway, your mother was a special person, and there'll never be anyone like her. And the one regret I have is that I never fully appreciated her. But looking back on it now, she had an infinite capacity for accomplishment. She raised 5 kids. She worked part-time as a hygienist, full-time for part of the time, and was on 3 Olympic teams, learned to be quite a good tennis player, and really was the spirit of the Ojai Valley Racquet Club, and I think had much to do with its success. I built it, but she gave it its soul. People loved your mother. I loved her. Everybody loved her. I don't know anyone that wasn't fond of your mother. There were some people that were jealous of your mother, I'm sure. But that always happens when you're successful. But she was an Olympian, and I've known quite a few Olympians. There's an organization called the Olympians, people that have made the Olympic team. And they have a unique quality, and it's the ability to hold a goal in very sharp focus for a long time, and to persist until they achieve that goal. And she certainly did that with her life. So she was my best friend and a wonderful wife and mother. My 38 years with her were an absolute blessing. So it'll be fun to pass this video on to your children and certainly to theirs. Maybe get it put on CDs, whatever the recording device is in the future, so it's permanently recorded. I wish I had one. I wish I had a recording like this from my father or my grandfather or my great-grandfather. Wouldn't that be fun? Unfortunately, the technology didn't exist. So that's about it. Now we'll get on with the competition. The 1960 Olympic Games, the 3-meter springboard, and the 10-meter tower. The first event is the 3-meter diving, and this is Ingrid Kramer with one of her required dives, a half gainer pike. There are certain dives that are required. Front dive, and here of course is your mother at age 26, I guess. Oh no, younger. You weren't even, Thane wasn't even born yet. She was about 23. Here's Liz Ferris from England, one of her required dives. Here's Paula Jane with a front dive layout, commonly known as the swan. She missed it slightly over there, got some lower scores. Irene McDonald from Canada. Irene was one of Paula Jane's strong competitors throughout the competition. Ingrid Kramer again on a front dive pike. Patsy Willard, an American diver from Arizona. Only 2 divers qualified in each event, Patsy and Paula Jean. On the 3-meter, there's a half gainer, nice dive by your mother. I'll refer to her as PJ. There are her scores over on the right hand side, 8, 7.5. Good scores. There's Ingrid Kramer again. I took pictures of Ingrid, obviously, because she was the top. No one had heard of her before. That was Patsy Willard. Here's Paula Jean. Half twist, front dive with a half twist. Got a pretty good dive here. Here's PJ again, and a front 2.5 tuck. Of course, now they're doing front 2.5 pike or front 3.5 spike. Pretty good scores, 7.5, 8. Here's Patsy Willard in a back dive layout. Missed it. Liz Ferris from England. Back dive pike. Nice dive. Here's Mom. Back dive layout. Split her feet just a hair on the entry, but a good dive. Irene McDonald. See how she pulled her knees in when she hit it too early. There's Liz Ferris again. Patsy Willard. Inward dive pike. Nice dive. Nice long legs. Liz Ferris. Mom, waiting for her next dive. She walks out, gets set. It's an inward dive pike. Nailed it. Good scores. Irene McDonald. She never could get straight. This was a girl from Bulgaria. Not bad. Now here's Ingrid Kramer in a front, in an inward, or a cutaway 1.5. That's a required dive and nicely done. Patsy Willard. Front 2.5, but she never tucked quite tightly, and she hit short. Here's Mom with a back 1.5 layout. Difficult dive, and she nailed it. That's a tough dive, as Darcy can testify. Here's a cutaway 1.5 by Irene, but she never gets her toes pointed. And she just wasn't quite there. This is this Bulgarian gal. Man, I think she's Russian. No, missed it badly. Those are 4s. This is another Russian diver. Not too bad. Older gal. Ingrid Kramer again. Beautiful form. Beautiful control of her legs on the entry. Patsy Willard in a 1.5 twisting front 1.5. Here's Mom with a cutaway 1.5 pike. Nailed it. A little bit of splash, but not bad. Irene McDonald again with her rubber cap off. Too low. Crashed. That's a 2 or 3 dive. This is a Russian diver, and I can't remember her name. Something Ova. Leaning. So she didn't get the spring, and she was short. Liz Ferris in a back 1.5 pike, and her knees never got straightened out. Now here's Ingrid, a beautiful back 1.5 pike. Beautiful pike. Notice how she holds those, positions those legs on the entry. 8.5s and 9s. And she clearly won the 3 meter. Patsy Willard never really got into the pike position. Her legs were too long. This is a Dutch diver, gal from the Netherlands. There's a gainer, gainer double, and she missed it. I thought it was going to be a gainer 2.5. Missed it big time. Here's Mom with a front. No, a gainer 1.5. Missed it a little bit. Made a pretty good entry, but she was a little over. Irene McDonald again from Canada. Gainer 1.5. Missed it slightly, but there's your Mom with a front 1.5 twisting, front 1.5 with a twist, full twisting 1.5. Anyway, Ingrid won. Mom took second. I don't know who took third. Here's the tower competition. 34 feet, long ways. Ingrid's first dive. sevens and eights. Here's Mom's first dive. Cutaway. That's called a cutaway jackknife. Fairly good scores. Here's a front flying 1.5. Not a good entry. But see, the judges, the communist judges were high on her. Here's a flying 1.5 by Mom. And she got lower. See the number one judge, 4, 5, and 6. Those were communists. She was low, they were low on her, and her dive was actually better than Ingrid's, I thought. Here's a cutaway 1.5. Ooh, nice. A little heavy on the entry, but sevens and eights. It's a full twisting 1.5 by PJ. I don't know who that was. Here's that was a funny dive. I don't know who that was either. There's a Netherlands gal. I think the prior gal was from Mexico. Here's Irene McDonald. Cutaway 2.5. And she never got straightened out on the entry. Here's Ingrid with a front full twister, never stopped twisting. Here's PJ with a front 2.5 pike. Pretty good. A little splashy, but pretty good entry. Judges 4 and 7 were low on her. There's Bobby Webster, and she won the silver medal. So I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I'll make another one soon with some other footage that I have. Paula Jean did some ads, soap ads, for television, and that might be kind of fun to convert to video as well. Here's a picture that we all posed for up in Santa Barbara. I'm sure you can all remember it. Derek and Sydney may not remember it. They were kind of small. This was, let's see, Derek was maybe 3 or 4, so it would have to be over 20 years ago, right, Derek? And let's take each person one by one here. Darcy Ann. Darcy Ann is now the mother of 3, and turned out to be a beautiful, athletic woman, wife, mother, and successful person in life. She married Will, of course, who and they have a very nice family. Stacy Lee, who also has a lovely family, married to Robert Lee, and has Amy and Dane, who she's very proud of. They live down in Carlsbad, not too far from Thane. Stacy is in the small child rearing stage, and has all her hands full. Reminds me a lot of actually reminds me of me now. Thane is married to Mireya, and they have 2 children, living near Stacy actually, in Carlsbad. He turned out to be a very fine tennis player. Went to Brigham Young for a while, and then he didn't like that too much, and transferred to Cal Poly, where he had a great time and played on the tennis team, and then went to Japan for a couple of years after that. Worked in Los Angeles on his return for a Japanese bank, and then worked for me for many years at the Racket Club as our tennis pro. Sydney Leanne Pope, who is living now in, she's 20, oh my gosh, 27? 20, sorry Sid, don't remember offhand exactly how old you are, but I'm your father, why should I? Living in Santa Monica, Culver City, and working for an advertising agency down there, and had a job with them for quite a while, doing quite well. Lives by herself, has a boyfriend, and has become quite a young lady that I'm very proud of. The big D here was about, I'm going to guess, 3 years old, and he turned out to be the biggest of all the children at about 6'3", and tallest, let's put it that way, and he's looking very trim right now at under 240 pounds. The Big D had a very successful tennis career, was one of the top 10 in the U.S., and went to Indiana University in Binghamton, not Binghamton, in Indiana, on a scholarship for 4 years, 5 years actually. Played in the Pro Tour in the summer in Europe a couple of times. Decided not to pursue pro tennis. Went to work in New York for a recruiting firm, and after the September 11th events, moved out to Southern California, and is now working down near San Diego, near Thane and Stacy, for a legal recruiting firm. He is not married, and of course neither is Sid, and he's doing very well, 25 years old. My love to all you guys, and your kids, and their kids. See you soon.